We are live on Facebook. Welcome to everyone on both platforms, Facebook and Zoom. As I shared, I am Tracy Howard, the manager of the Financial Empowerment Center. For those of you who are not familiar with us, allow me to just share a bit of background information about the Financial Empowerment Center. Going to share my screen. The Financial Empowerment Center well, the screen share is not quite cooperating with me, so that's fine. The Financial Empowerment Center provides a full range of services and support to help individuals and families to achieve financial stability, economic self-sufficiency, and ultimately to build wealth. And that is our passion, to empower individuals and families so that they achieve the things that they've been dreaming about. We have a number of services that we have offered in the past and will be offering in 2023, one-on-one coaching, financial empowerment seminars such as this one, Wealth Building Wednesday, home ownership, Black men and money, credit and debt management, and then of course, family and personal goal planning. I am so pleased to be joined tonight by a couple of members from my team who will help us to monitor the chats on Zoom and Facebook. And I'd like for them to just wave and smile at you now. Tiara Wright and Dominique Bloomfield are here with us tonight. Please cooperate, join our conversation on both Facebook and Zoom. We'd love to see your lovely faces and hear your comments and understand what questions you may have. So please, this is meant to be interactive. This is meant to be a community. This is meant to be something that enlightens us, gives us the information that we need, and helps us to move forward with our financial plans and our plans for our careers in life. I'd like to introduce, I'm very honored that we have with us tonight also Ebony Young, Senior Vice President of Impact at the Urban League. I report to Ebony. We're proud to be a part of her team. And I'd like to invite you, Ebony, to just share a few remarks with us.
All right, well, thank you, Tracy, so much for that amazing introduction, and good evening, everyone, and thank you all so much for coming to this today. I'm happy to be here as we learn more about wealth building strategies. We are hosting hosting these Wealth Building Wednesday series quarterly in partnership with Fifth Third Bank to make a collective impact in the community by providing the knowledge, the tools, and the resources to overcome generational poverty and really put people on a path to building wealth. So thank you all for leaning in and saying yes and being here. And I'm excited to hear from our amazing panelists, and I'm ready to get some of that knowledge and put that knowledge into action. So thank you, Tracy, very much. And thank you to everyone for being here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ebony. As we begin to move into our program, I'd just like to share a few quick housekeeping notes so that the evening goes smoothly. Please mute your phones to eliminate any background noises and distractions. If at all possible, we'd love to see your amazing, beautiful faces so that we can engage even more. So please turn on your cameras if possible. And please participate in the discussion by sharing your comments and questions on Zoom and Facebook Live. Dominique and Tiara will be monitoring both of those venues, and you are encouraged to join us in this conversation tonight. And again, please mute your phones and participate in our discussion by sharing your faces. Put your comments on Zoom and in the Facebook chat, and we will answer your questions when we get to that part of the program. Your engagement tonight will be tracked by Dominique and Tiara, who will be monitoring, and there will be a surprise later as a reward for your engagement. One person on Facebook and one person on Zoom will receive a nice prize. So with that, I'd like to turn things over to our moderator for the evening, Mr. Royce Sutton, who is a senior vice president at Fifth Third Bank. Royce, please proceed with our program.
All right, Tracy, good. Thank you for the introduction. And for the Urban League team, again, Fifth Third Bank is excited about being a partner in this third year of our Wealth Building Wednesday sessions. So we've got a lot of people on this call and people on Facebook, on Zoom. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on my end really talking, because we're going to dig right into the heart of the reason why we are here this evening. All these folks are wanting to figure out how they can build wealth, and so we're not going to get in their way. But before I do, I want to recognize my counterpart on the Fifth Third Bank team, Marya Rutherford. Long wave at them, Marya.
If you're
to know that you're out there. And she has done a tremendous job in coordinating tonight's event. And so really excited about what we're going to do. So we've got the opportunity to really hear from some experts tonight. For those of you who are looking to secure the bag, for those of you who are looking to raise your level of wealth building, for those of you who are thinking, you know what, I don't have any wealth, but I am interested, I'm nosy enough to find out what they're talking about tonight, you're in the right place. So for those of you who are here and you heard a little bit about this idea of what you can do to begin to piece together your strategy, you're in the right place this evening. Again, my name is Royce Sutton, and I'm going to allow our other panelists to introduce themselves tonight, and then we're going to jump right into the questions. And we're also going to reserve some time at the latter part of this where you'll be able to ask questions of these wonderful panelists that we've assembled here this evening. So let's start with our first panelist, okay? All right, you'll take yourself off mute. Gregory, we'll start with you.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Royce. I didn't know I was first, but let's do it. Okay. So my name is Greg Parker. I am the Director of Membership Services for the African American Chamber of Commerce. I have spent a number of years in electrical engineering, where my undergraduate degree is. So I've spent some years in engineering in the automotive industry, also strategic sourcing with the GE Corporation, General Electric, and now I am with the Chamber of Commerce, African American Chamber of Commerce. So it is really, I'm excited about this event. I applaud the Urban League for putting on this type of event that can help really educate people, because we don't get that level of education sometimes at home or in our high schools and colleges. So this is great to have this. I guess I don't know how much about me you need to know. I actually have, I'll say this, I moved here about 1.5 years ago from Houston. So I spent about 15 years in Houston, and prior to that, a number of years in Detroit in the automotive industry, and I grew up in St. Louis. So I'm still a Midwest guy, even though I came here from the South. So with that, if that's what we're talking about is about myself, I guess I'll cut it off there and move on.
All right.
All right.
That's great start. So we'll go with Dari. If you can jump right in.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, everyone. I'm Dari Daniels. Professionally, I'm Chief of Staff at Gap Inc. But passion-wise, it's financial freedom. I would say I'm super excited tonight to share with you some of my personal tips and tricks around financial wealth, as well as building it, as well as some lessons lessons that I learned as well too. In addition to that, I would say that I'll try to make it as practical as possible, because this topic can be it could seem very complex, but at the same time, you can get a lot of nuggets from the staff, from the team here, as well as myself. So super excited to be here. Thank you.
All right, Robert.
Hey, what's up? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
Good to be here. Robert Smith. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in Cincinnati, Ohio. First, I want to say thank you to the Urban League and Fifth Third. Thanks for putting this on. I think there need to be more organizations that put more information to give information out to the public and make it readily accessible. And I'm grateful to be here. Thank for all of the panelists that we have tonight. It's just awesome. I've been excited all week thinking about, this opportunity this evening. But I'm a licensed real estate agent and I do real estate. I help people buy, sell, and sell real estate. I own a lot of real estate myself. So I'm an author. I've been able to author my first book. I'm a mentor. I'm anything real estate. I'm really in the real estate space. I've flipped quite a few homes and I help a lot of people buy real estate. So whether it's your first time home or it's your investment property or it's your dream home, I've been fortunate to be able to help so many people in the area. I am born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio. Withrow Tiger, and I'm just good to be here, glad to be here. And if I can help any kind of way, I'm open here in the real estate aspect of it, as well as anything in the wealth building and generational wealth. I love, real estate. That's my name, and that's what I do. Good to be here.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, Al, if you can jump right in.
Hello, everybody. My name is Al Riddick. I am president of Game Time Budgeting. Game Time Budgeting is a Cincinnati-based financial wellness firm where we teach people how to make their money behave. And we do this by focusing on 3 very specific areas. We love to help people develop the proper mindset while also learning new behaviors and creating simple and easy to duplicate systems that produces predictable results. I consider myself to be a lifelong student of money. The topic in and of itself is totally fascinating to me. I'm here to give everybody hope because I've made a lot of financial mistakes in my life. But if a guy like me can turn his life around from a financial point of view, I am 100% confident that everybody on this call right now can do the same. Off the court, I love to travel, off the outside of work, I love to travel. I love to play racquetball, and I love reading anything about personal finance and African-American history. So once again, thank you to the Urban League and to Fifth Third for putting this on.
Al, I love your transparency there. I love the transparency and really speaking about this idea that you have made even some mistakes and now you have moved into this Moses. I'm gonna get into that as we go down the road here in our discussion. But as we think about this whole idea, we've got some folks on this call right here this evening who are really sitting down. They've got their note paper out, they've got their pen ready to go. They're going to take some great notes. And what they really want to know is, is this possible? Is it possible to really, as they think about this idea of building wealth? We hear about that discussed in other communities. But in our community, this idea of living paycheck to paycheck, crisis to crisis, issue to issue, is the reality that many of us maybe, I grew up in a situation like that, but many of us have grown up in environments and situations like that. So the idea to kind of flip that and to move to the next level, I'd like to hear from our panelists, how we can begin to think with that different mentality and to be able to do that. All right, don't let me call names. Come on now, we brought you on here to talk. Don't let me call names. Come on now, jump right on in.
Royce, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and jump in if that's okay. So, so far as developing that mentality, one of the things that I always stress to individuals is this, and just so you know, I love to keep things very simple, but one of the things you have to learn how to do is to spend more time planning what to do with the next dollar you will earn before spending the dollar you already have. right? I know when it comes to your relationship with money, we all love shiny new things, right? But sometimes those shiny new things really don't allow you to put yourself in a position to build wealth. I'm sure everyone on the panel would agree that at some point you have to make a decision in your own mind, like what or why am I building wealth? You know, what will it do for my life? And at some point, you're going to have to modify some of the behaviors that you exhibit with money right now in order to make that gap between income and spending as wide as possible to get that cash flow that you need to start building wealth.
Okay, let's dig right into that then, Al. What are some things that we can modify? What are some things that we can modify? And I'm gonna bring in some of our other panelists as well. What are some things that we can modify to make that transition from crisis to wealth building?
So just to keep it simple, one of the first things everybody can do is to actually count your money, right? So I always say it's nothing wrong with conducting like a financial or a wealth inventory. So how many people actually know how much money is hitting your bank on payday? You know, a lot of us, we live in a high-tech society, so everything is on automatic draft. So do you fully understand how much income is coming in your house and how much income is leaving, how much is leaving your house in the form of expenses? So I always say it's good to take a look in your past if you want to understand where you're headed in the future. So if you've never done this exercise, I dare, matter of fact, I triple dog dare everybody on this call to take a look at your spending behavior for last month, the month of January. If you need to pull some of those checking account statements and things of that nature, or even credit card statements, I dare you to go down line by line, looking at where you spend your money. Because if you've ever wondered what you value in life, you can see what you value by where you spend your money.
Okay, I would say, Dari, this will be a great spot for you to jump right in on this conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say I was going to piggyback on what Al was mentioning. I believe that it's all about a mindset change and a lifestyle from that angle. So as Al challenged everybody on the call to kind of look at your assets, look at what you have versus what your income versus your expenses. And that's how you essentially create a budget, honestly. And from there, you can do it old school way with pen and paper. You can do it via envelope style if you're a cash money perspective. Like for instance, if you all you do is handle cash and cash is your thing, envelope system is the best thing for you, where you would label each of your envelopes by category, like clothing, groceries, tuition, etc., and just place cash in there. Or if you're a technology savvy person, you can go through Excel sheets. There's some great apps out there like Mint and banking apps that do it now, where you can link your banking accounts to it and it'll pull everything for you and also create your own custom budgets for you based off of that as well too. So Mint is one, True Bill is one, Good Budget is one, and these are all free as well too. So these are great resources for folks to use as well. So
Dari, one more time, you said those kind of fast. I want to make sure our folks pick up on some of those budgeting, those money management apps.
Yes, True Bill, Good Budget, Mint, Mint. Some of your banks have it as well too. Like I know Fifth Third Bank has a great one. And then basically from there, you could link your bank account to it and it will customize all of your spending. It'll take all your spending versus your incomes, and you can customize a budget for you as well too. So those are a couple ones that work very great, and they're free.
Absolutely. And in our financial centers, our branches, anyone who's a customer may not even be a customer. We do extend services where you can come sit down with anyone on our staff, and they will walk you through, how to set up a budget and how to structure that and how to really keep an eye on your dollars. Many times we think of a bank branch as a place where we only do transactions, but there are people there that actually are there to help and work through, and Fifth Third Bank, we're committed to be able to do that. So I would like to allow Robert also to jump in, weigh in on this subject as well.
And that's good. So when able to, I think about myself, how I first kind of started and was just kind of all over the place. But I want to tell you that I think the first thing is getting the mentality. Someone said it as far as the mindset believing that one, we could do it. Yes, you're okay to do it. One, I talk to so many people. A lot of people are afraid of money. I think we need to get over that concept that it's not the love. Money is not the root of all evil. It's the love of money is the root of all evil. So one, believing that we can do it. Also, I love the planning and budget. Put down our plan. What are our goals? Where do I want to be in 2 years? What I want to be in 3 years? Also having the mindset that say, hey, I can make these changes. I can make the adjustments, and taking some self-responsibility. And I think also living life on purpose. Our budgets, everything is on purpose. Like, let's do it. Let's not try not to be so reactive, but let's be proactive with our finances. And then if we don't know, I mean, there's mentors, there's free information. I mean, we can see anything on Google. We can search, seek advice. There's a lot of free seminars and different things. Find opportunities where we spend time and energy to go after there to seek the education that we may not have. And just believe that we can do it. But just doing your budget, doing your wealth and your plan on purpose and having a vision. One last tip that I did that really helped me is every year I plan out my next year and I write a letter. I write a letter to myself. I make my vision. I make it plain. This is what I want to be. And I get real detail. I got this amount of money in my bank account. I own this amount of homes. I have this much in credit card debt. I drive this car. I educate this. I give this amount. Be real specific. And one thing about that, when you write it down, it just something connects inside, and it gives accountability to you. So the next year you can read over that. And also too, make a goal, make some fun with it. Like, hey, you know what? I wanted the Chanel this, or I wanted this, I wanted that, or say, hey, if I make these budgets, I'll reward myself and go out and buy something else. So living on purpose with this finances, I think will really help us in the long run.
Robert, I love this living on purpose concept, and then writing that out. Now, and I know you're not implying in any way that when we write out these goals, that then we fold that up and go hide that away someplace and never see that again. Where do you put this when you write these goals down, these on purpose activities? Where do you put those?
It's a great question. One thing I always suggest people is I journal and write a book. I think sometimes we need to take a time to exhale and some self-time, and where you just say, you know what, on Friday evenings, I'm gonna grab some coffee or something, an adult beverage, where I'm gonna sit in the corner and just let's think about life. I think this world is so fast and everything is going, moving. I think sometimes we need to take a step back and evaluate, okay, what am I doing? What's here? Who am I dealing with? Am I in the right circles? Am I doing the right things? How are ways that I can improve my life mentally, physically, spiritually, financially? Also, too, where you take it, if you do it for 1 year, write down some goals. If you do, okay, here's the first month, I'm gonna do A, B, C, and D. So what I do is I usually, let's say if I wanted to pay off a credit card, I write down, pay off that credit card, $200, put a little check box on there, come back after I paid it and check it off. Make it real simple and real plain, because most people don't even write this down. I saw some statistic, they say like 70% of people don't even have a budget that they use. And I was like, this is money. We work here for money. Like, money is everywhere. So that's what I would say to that question.
Great. So it's all about elevating our practices, our thoughts, and the way that we apply what we do to larger goals. And they don't necessarily have to be lofty goals. I like how you put that, Robert. Greg, I really want you to jump in here and spend some time really talking about how we could potentially move this level of financial responsibility to the next level, and what you're doing on an everyday basis on your end to elevate that and to really share with this audience here how we can do that.
So I think it comes down to creating some level of discipline. And I think a lot of times people don't think they have the discipline it takes to maybe put some money aside or not go after that shiny object, if you will. I love what Robert and Al and you guys are saying, because it's those disciplines that are going to help you kind of manifest what you want. And we are all disciplined to some degree, right? We get up, we brush our teeth every day. It's a discipline, right? It's just choosing what we want to be disciplined at, right? So like for me, I know my challenges, right? So I know that if I want to put some money aside, I got to put it aside before I even know it's there, right? So sometimes you'll have a bank just drawing out and putting it into a savings account and doing that. So it's not even in the pot of your spending amount, right? Or you separate those buckets so that the bills are in one place and then the free flow spending is in another place, but it's limited, right? So you've set up these triggers that allow you to not have to depend on your discipline, but because it's just going to happen anyway. So I think that if we start to really, as Robert said, just small baby steps count too. So just take the baby steps to start to add up to some of the big goals that we have. Me working at the chamber, I've been in, of course, corporate America for a number of years, and I'm at the chamber and I've had my own business, and it is really, we can say, hey, I'm living check to check and I can't still, but you expect me to take some money aside and save some money, but I'm living check to check. So my mindset is, I'm check to check. And so I can't see where I can put some money aside. The reality is you can, but you can't see it, right? So sometimes you might have to convince yourself. Maybe you need to create a little side hustle, right? A business, something you like to do that'll bring in some extra money, while you do that. Whether you have a business or whether you're a W-2 employee, you might need to bring in find some method of bringing in some extra money, just a little bit of something that will allow you to say, hey, this is that extra that I'm putting towards whatever, getting out of this situation, whatever that means for you, whether that's being able to vacation a little bit more than I used to, or just saving for my kid that's going to be going to college soon. So I think we really have, it's a mindset at the end of the day, but we really have to set things in place that will allow us to function without having to believe that we got to make this huge change. So that's something that I think would be helpful.
Well, Greg, and I like how you put that. I like how you put that because you're really making that really a discipline around whether we want to think about ourselves as entrepreneurs or we just want to think of ourselves as consumers. Definitely a difference between the two as we think about this idea of how we can build something that's a legacy for ourselves. Later on this year, we're going to have a workshop, another wealth building workshop. We're going to talk about real estate. We're going to talk about purchasing a home. We're going to have a session where we talk about small business ownership as well. So stick with us during the course of this year, because all these sessions are all intended to get you to the next step. They're all intended to get you thinking in a different way. So as we talk about this idea of thinking a different way, if we're really honest with ourselves, this idea of moving beyond being a consumer, just to give you a little bit of fact, if you were to purchase a Mercedes-Benz S-Class, within 3 years, it will depreciate by 67%. Let that sink in. A BMW 7 Series, nice luxury car, beautiful car. In 3 years, it depreciates 72.6%. So let's talk about this idea of moving beyond being a consumer and becoming someone that's preparing for wealth. Dari,
So I'll
jump right in.
Go ahead, Al. I think you were going. Go ahead. I'll jump in.
Dari, go ahead, ladies first. I'm a Southern gentleman,
Yeah, I would say just to piggyback off of what Greg was mentioning, to build wealth, there are a couple of ways to do it. One, it's to adapt the lifestyle thought of it. It's a lifestyle. So instead of going to Target and buying 5 things and you needed one thing, just ask yourself, like, am I using the best of my dollar? So that's with everything you do, like going out to eat. Am I using the best of my dollar? Or could I cook at home? You know, it's those type of things could help you change your lifestyle. The second thing I think was mentioned on the floor was around just living within your means as well too. So you want to ensure that you don't necessarily, live outside your means. And that's where you come to the 64% of Americans who live paycheck to paycheck. And you don't necessarily want to be in that angle. And which is a very high statistic for America. So live within your means. So if you're bringing in 90,000 a year and you calculate and you wrote everything down and you understand that you actually are outputting at 100,000, think about it from that angle of like, how can I, go back to identifying a lifestyle change? Am I using the best for my dollar? And another idea within building wealth could be, I think Greg mentioned this about multi streams of income. We already have our 9-to-5 job, but we also are creatives and we have passions about a lot of things as well too. So how can we turn those into streams of income for us in order for us to build more money that come in, which we could save that additional income, or we could utilize it to, purchase more homes, or you flex the money that you need from that angle that's coming in addition to what you already have. Plainly and clearly, I think, finances is not the most sexiest topic. And it is kind of cringing when it comes to looking at it as well too. So, but you also you got to like look at yourself and be very, very blunt with yourself as well too, as far as, okay, this is what I make. This is what I have. This is what I can do. This is what I cannot do. This is my debts. Debt and wealth are oxymorons. So you definitely want to eliminate as much debt as possible when it comes to it. But at the same time, you have to be honest with yourself with that. Real estate is another piece of income. Robert talked about it as well too. Just owning property. I remember, a really good mentor of mine told me, he who owns the land makes all the calls. And so like you basically, if you own something, it's yours, it's your baby. You can produce it and make a multiple streams of income for that, or you can own it and have it as yours and pass it down from a generational wealth perspective as well too. So those are a couple of things that are really cool and dear to my heart with that as well too. So I'll pass it to you, Al. I know that you were going to mention some nuggets as well too.
Oh yeah, since Royce brought up automobiles and how much they depreciate. Now, I just like to keep it real with people, right? So my wife and I, and you ladies and gentlemen might think this is strange, but my wife's car is 23 years old and has 280,000 miles on it, right? So you may be saying, man, that's old. But we look at it this way, right? 3 things that we never want to do as a couple. We don't want to live in our wealth. We don't want to drive our wealth, and we don't want to wear our wealth, right? So one of the things that we think about as it relates to like making a car purchase, we have a rule in our house that things that depreciate in value, they have to be paid for in cash. You know what I'm saying? Now that's a hardcore way to live, but it forces you to really count your dollars and be very intentional about what you do with your money. Now, one thing I will add, my wife and I, we've been living like totally debt-free for over 15 years, right? No student loans, no car payments, no car notes, and no mortgage. So when you live a certain way, it's really not that difficult to have rules in your house around budgeting and cash flow and spending, but you do have to, how can I say it? I'm just going to keep it real. Financial success does not come for free, and you will have to pay a price depending on the level of success that you desire. But wherever you are in your financial journey, all I can say is just continue to educate yourself about money, because the more you learn and know about money, I promise you, you will start to make different decisions on a day-to-day basis. And the next thing you know, you'll look in your banking account, and instead of you having no commas in the balance, you'll start out with at least one, and that should get you excited to stay the course and just to continue making more productive decisions in your future.
Now you see why Al has this big smile on his face. While you can hear the joy in his voice, while he's so excited because this brother don't hold any debt. I love it, man. Greg, or say Robert, would you want to weigh in any further on this? Al has really thrown it out there. This idea of our thinking and the actions that follow behind that. Can you weigh in on this?
Sure. It's awesome stuff. Yeah. And one thing about wealth and building wealth, it's no one way to do it. Long as I think that you have a plan and understand, because it might be different. And I thought a lot of times we speak of wealth as a 9-to-5 regular employee building wealth. But guess what? There's entrepreneurs out there. There's self-owned people that own businesses. And there's also people that have a career in investing. So it depends on where you are. Al said it was awesome. It's the spectrum of where you are. Like it's wonderful. I think the main thing is that we're doing it on purpose and educating ourselves. It's great. One thing I'll give a tip that really helped me out is, and I like to take my dollar and I make a percentage. So right now, 40% of every dollar that comes in, whether it's $1,000 or $10,000 or $100, I am taking that money and I'm investing it / save those or buying assets. So that's what I do with 40% of my money. Now, a lot of people live super low below their means, which is awesome. And a lot of people can do that, and that's awesome. But I think if we continue to minimize our expenses and we continue to understand even the taxes, I'm talking about our investors now, even our tax benefits, learning the tax codes and the different advantages where, let's say if you wanted a $100,000 vehicle, you could get that $100,000 vehicle, maybe you have your business take care of it, talk to your accountant. But there's a lot of different ways you can do it. So it depends on where you are in the spectrum, but we're doing it on purpose. So I think one gentleman said it before, he said, Gregory, he said that if you automatically take it out. Now think about it. If we go on our checking account right now and look at our checking account, we got somebody that's automatically taking some now every month, and we don't even know we did it. I mean, one day I was looking, I had an ESPN subscription. I wanted to see one fight, and it was $9.99 a month, and I didn't cancel that. So that's $120 that I wasted per year on that one subscription. So why am I saying that? I'm saying that what we could do is if we take $5, $10, $50 a month, all right, some of us drink coffee every day. So if we say 5 days a week, one day I'm going to not drink that $10 Starbucks for one day and take that $10 and get that allocated, whether it be a money market account. There's plenty of financial guys on here. Fifth Third have a lot of financial advisors. And just take that little bit and get it automatically withdrawn. Next thing you know, it's huge. So how do you eat an elephant? One scoop at a time. So I think doing it on purpose and saying that you can do it, and the next thing you know, it's money. Like it's money here, and it's like, okay, what do I do with money? Because money are like my little employees. I send them out to go work, and their job is to go out on the street and bring back more money. So that's my goal for financially, because I want to build wealth and minimize assets. Last but not least, I do want to say this. Always look at your bills, especially if you have bills that are ongoing. Let's say the insurance. Did you know you can call your insurance company and you can say, hey, listen, I want a cheaper rate. Or, hey, these credit cards. Also, our telephone bill. Those are ways we can just have the extra call on Fridays. I'm gonna call and I'm gonna get the prices down. So if you get it down $100 a month, that's $12 more $100 that you're able to invest. So doing those different things, learning little tips and tactics, those really help in the way on our journey to wealth building.
I love it. So what you're talking about is really being an engaged consumer, engaged wealth builder, and you're not just being passive and letting life take its course with what you're doing. There are three, and I want to make sure that folks are on. If you have questions, you can put your questions in the chat, and we're going to open up to hear the questions about the last 15 minutes of our call here to allow folks to engage. But you know, we've got some experts here doing some wonderful things in this space. As we talk about this idea of thinking about your money, think about your money in three buckets. That first bucket is safety and security. So that's when you are building your emergency fund. So if you can do anywhere from 6 to 8 months as up to a year of your fixed and your variable expenses set aside, you'll be prepared for any emergency that comes your way. That's bucket number one. Bucket number two is growth. That's when you begin to invest in low cost or tax advantage equities, your stocks, bonds, things like that, and you're educating yourself. So that's your second bucket. And then your third bucket is your dream and entrepreneurial bucket. That's when you're beginning to look at what you've already got money set aside, your bills are paid on time, and now you're getting to the point where you're actually investing in starting a small business, or you're purchasing a business, or you're looking at other ventures that are going to grow your wealth over the span of time, and then also reduce your taxes. So 3 different buckets. I'm gonna let Greg. Is there something else that you'd like to weigh in on this topic?
Yeah, sure. You know, and I love this because I think it's like listen, you know, when you're in the car, you're listening to the radio and you hear music, and all of a sudden, maybe a week later, that song you've been hearing, you can sing all the words. All of a sudden, you know the words. That's how this kind of education is. If people continue to hear this, then we'll start to get it, you know, our communities will start to get it. So again, I just want to commend Fifth Third and the Urban League for having this discussions and this ongoing discussion. But, you know, we have a lot of history, and I think we got to give ourselves some grace around our history. We're, you know, most of us are only 3-4 generations from slavery, right? So I know my mom did not give me really any education on finances, right? She just tried to make it, you know, so she gave us what we needed. We never felt poor, but we didn't have a lot of money to navigate with. So she just didn't have that. She had to worry about just getting us through. So give ourselves some grace, but then, you know, taking in the education around what is out here, because really money circulates, right? Money is not just this one thing that you get it from your paycheck and then you pay some expenses and that's it. It circulates through communities, it circulates through businesses, it circulates, and you can control that. So it's great, you know, with Robert and Al, you know, Al is, like I say, he's debt free. I'm not in that camp. I'm trying to get there, but it's really a way to be. It's certainly a goal that we should all have, and having assets, as Robert spoke of, it's really important. And in your business, if you got a business, I don't care if it's a side hustle, I don't care what it is, it's an asset to you. It's bringing in money. So you really got to treat it like that and treat it like your baby and really take care of it, feed it, teach it, you know, grow it. So I think it's really important that we treat money and our potential generational wealth. We got to start educating ourselves about it and really recognize that.
What did you say?
And recognize that we didn't all come from a place where we were taught that in the home or even in our education system. So you know, let's take advantage of this. And there's a lot out here for us to do to start so that we can provide generational wealth. And I love the buckets that Royce just talked about, because emergency funds. And, there's buckets like we have to consider our financial, just our insurances, right? Whether it's health insurance, whether it's automobile insurance, whether, life insurance, because those are things that can really start to diminish our wealth because you weren't fully covered in a car accident. So now, it's taking money away from what you were trying to do to save money. So we gotta.
So let me jump right in there, Greg. So
yeah,
you're touching on a very that insurance is a really important topic, and let's be very clear here on this call. GoFundMe is not life insurance. All right, so let's get ourselves in a position and prepare ourselves where we are thinking about, how those arrangements are going to be made. If you're not there now, you can begin to take some of these steps that have been shared here that will get you in a position where you're able to get the type of insurance. I'd like if you could, before we get into the questions, either Dari or Al, could you give us some insight on legal side hustles? And we're not talking about the casino, we're not talking about scratch offs, side hustles that can provide some additional income for folks that are on this call today.
That's funny, legal side hustles. So for a couple side hustles, it's your passion, honestly. So for me, I love cycling, I love biking. I opened up a cycle studio, like that's what I love to do. Let's see here. I love shoes. I opened up a shoe store, like things that you really love to do that's not necessarily that you're going to dry out of. Those are some cool things to kind of look into as well too. So, you can also do, I guess, part-time jobs as well too, but I would more so lean into things that are I guess, exercise your passions more than anything else. So I don't know if you have anything in addition to add to that, Al. You are mute.
Al?
Sorry about that. So when it comes to like your side hustle, and a few people have mentioned this word in the past, what is it that you are passionate about? Because we all know working is hard, right? And if you are going to exert even more effort outside of your 9 to 5, why not try to generate revenue doing something that you actually enjoy? So it might not shock you to know that I absolutely love helping people get their mind right when it comes to money, right? So I turned my side hustle into my main hustle. So with the side hustle, again, I would ask myself, what am I passionate about? What is it that people are always complimenting you on so far as what you do well? Some people might be very good at writing resumes, or some individuals might be good in a certain subject. You could start a tutoring business. One thing I do know, parents will spend just about any amount of money to give their child an opportunity to succeed in life. So that could be another area as well. Whatever you decide to do, though, make sure that you understand that you need to generate profit. It's one thing to generate revenue, but it's a totally different subject to make sure you're turning a profit in that business. And all I mean by that is that your expenses are smaller than the money that is coming through the door.
Absolutely. So let's do this. Great points. We've got some questions. We had a question in the chat that someone wants to know a little bit more about stocks and bonds and how they can actually invest that way. Would somebody like to jump in and share some insight along that line? I know they're pretty complicated. That could be a very long discussion, but if you can just give some guidance with stocks and bonds.
So I'll just jump in if nobody else wants to. Basically, when you buy a stock, all you're doing is purchasing ownership in a company. That's it, right? However, before buying any stocks, right, you still have to understand what your level of risk is, because one thing I will tell you, people always get excited when everybody's making money or when the market is always going up, right? But when you're losing money, you have to know your level of comfort with that. So just to keep it simple, a stock is nothing more than purchasing ownership in a company. With that ownership, that means you get to share in the profit. So hopefully the stock that you buy pays a dividend. Again, the dividend, all that means is based on the number of shares of stock you own. If you own 10 shares and the dividend is 10 cents per share or something like that, then you just made an extra $1, right? So far as bonds, I look at bonds like this, and just to make sure that nobody tries to sue me, I am not a certified financial planner. I just love reading about and studying money, right? But when it comes to bonds, all that means is that you are the lender and somebody is borrowing money from you, right? And they have agreed to repay you at a later date with a certain amount of interest. That's how I look at bonds. So that's pretty much it. You know, there are different types of bonds, but there's no need to get into all of that.
Right,
So
right.
leave it at that.
Yeah, you're right. There is a question, and again, keep in mind, we are not giving investment advice here, but we're giving life and balance related suggestions to you that can help you on your financial path. And one of the questions was, how much should a person invest in stocks and bonds? What percentage of their income should go toward their investments? So I'll speak on my end personally. I have, it varies a little bit, but it's no less than 25% of what I have coming out of my income goes toward investments. So I don't know if there's any other suggestions of folks that are on the line here.
Yeah, I think it's totally up to your own discretion based off of how much income you are willing to risk at that point in time. I'm a tech person. I love apps, as you all have mentioned or see so far that I have mentioned, rather. One good one that is really good for investing one-on-one is called Robinhood. If you are wanting to get into investing and buying stocks and bonds and things of that nature, and you don't know how to start, Robinhood is a great way to kind of look into it and read into it to know particularly. I would say, as mentioned before, we are not financial advisors, so I would definitely go to a financial advisor to know specifically how much you should invest. If outside of your personal money. Now, there are 401ks that you can maximize and use for investments as well too, which employers also match. So if you are not utilizing that, I would tap into that today, because that is free money that's being left on the table. So yes, those are two things I would do. Is one, look into Robinhood for starters, and then two, just understand specifically how much you should put in by talking to a financial advisor based off of what you're bringing in and what you're putting out.
Yeah, great advice. Any other questions that we have coming in?
Any
other questions?
We have a question from Facebook that just came in. Dominique typed it in the Zoom chat for you. She's also happy to read it for you if you need that.
Please do.
Okay, Dominique, will you share the question?
What books would you recommend to read about financial literacy?
I'll give one before the group jumps in. Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
I would be stupid to not mention my own book. It's titled The Uncommon Millionaire: Financial Success Starts with Behavior.
Love it.
This is one I like. It's called Creating Wealth. It's from Robert G. Allen. It's an old school book. It's kind of on that Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I like it because it gets into the psyche of why money and why to invest. I think the hardest part is getting the psyche, getting rid of the fears and the things that you've heard and stories and, crazy uncles and aunts stories out of your mind, and actually get some education and renewing your mind, your thought pattern about money and wealth and what it's for, what it's used as a tool and different things like that. But Robert G. Allen is Creating Wealth. It's a good book. It's about 20 years old.
Great. Any others? All right, any other questions?
For your personal book, is that available on Amazon?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool.
Would you suggest people have an emergency savings before investing your money?
Yes, 100%.
Thank you for confirming that.
Al, please place the title of your book in the chat.
Emergency savings, but back on it just real quick. So how do you get started with creating and building an emergency fund? We've talked about the merits of it and why it's important. How much would you suggest? How does a person get toward that point? Greg, if you want to jump in, or any of the others.
Yeah.
Robert?
I'll jump in because I was thinking about, getting back to the side hustle, right? Maybe that's a way. If you feel like you're already check to check, then maybe you specifically do a side hustle for, an emergency fund, for something that's significant, not just to go buy something, but, something that's significant. And the other thing I was going to say about the side hustle is, if you have a passion for something, you should go after that, make your passion your side hustle. But sometimes people just have a passion to get out of corporate America, right? Just a passion to move on. So there's a lot of companies out here that are, and it's some untraditional in some people's mind, but like network marketing companies and things that really have a low barrier to entry, and you can really generate a side hustle. Now it gets back to Al Riddick's point of, you got to make profit, right? It's not just about revenue. You don't want to spend a lot of money just to make not as much as you're spending, of course. But there are other ways that you can get into bringing in some extra money into your household through some of these companies that have been set up to allow people to market their product without spending a lot of money to do it. So I just wanted to throw that in because everybody doesn't have a passion that can really bring in some significant money right away. Now, maybe you have a side hustle so that you can bring in a passion, but yeah, so yeah, that's one way to bring in some emergency fund money is to, bring in a side hustle if you think you're already check to check.
Greg, this would be a great opportunity for you to get a plug in for the African American Chamber and the various programs and sessions that you offer for free.
Yeah, so that is awesome. Thank you for that opportunity. And yeah, the African American Chamber is really, I think, the go-to place to really help your business thrive and grow in a network of people that are all on the same mission. They say if you want to go somewhere fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. Well, the African American Chamber allows you to do that. We have a lot of resources available to you, whether it's funding resources, whether it's networking resources, whether it is grants, loans, connected with Fifth Third. Of course, they're a great partner of ours. And so we really do want to serve the community and really allow African American businesses to be a really significant economic engine here in the greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area. And so that's what we do. So we really, and I'm gonna say this, again, I don't know if it's a shameless plug.
Well, I won't be able to let you continue. You got your plug in. But
okay, all right.
I'm
done. All right.
We're out of time.
I'm playing the rules. All right. Thank you.
Greg, good stuff. I want to say thank you to you, Greg, Al, fantastic information. Dari, just a treat what you shared. Robert, absolutely phenomenal. This has been an enriching discussion that we've had here. And we didn't have enough time, right? And that's why we're going to do more of these. And that's why we want you to come back. And that's why we want you to reach out to any one of these partners on this call here. If you're interested in hearing more about this from any of these presenters that we had today, please reach out to the Urban League. They'd be more than happy to share that. And please use the resources and the tools that they have in their Financial Empowerment Center as well. I hope everyone has an absolutely wonderful, wonderful rest of your week, and that this discussion that you've had here is the very start of you to begin to build wealth for yourself and your family, and to make a change and create a legacy that endures across your community and your family. Everyone have a great, great evening. Take care.
And now I'd like to be able to ask my team, Tiara and Dominique, on who are the winners tonight for the $25 gift cards. And while we're waiting for those responses, I just want to thank Royce and the entire team. I was on the edge of my seat. I wanted more, and we hope to really get that updated. I see that your email is incorrect, so we have that, and it will be in the video. This video will be placed on the website, and you'll get instructions from Tracy right before as we leave. But I am excited to give out these gift cards. So who are our winners tonight, ladies?
Laura Carter is our winner for the Zoom. So
Okay.
congratulations, Laura.
And for the Facebook winner, I have Nancy Cleaning.
Okay. Congratulations, Laura
Congratulations.
and Nancy. We are so excited you joined us. We'll be back for our next edition. Tracy, I'm going to give it back to you. Thank you to our presenters again. You are just simply amazing.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Marya, and thank you, Royce, and this distinguished panel. This has been a wonderful discussion. I took so many good notes. And one thing that impressed me throughout this entire conversation is that wealth building does not start with the sexy stuff, stocks and bonds. We were very late in the conversation before we started that discussion. We talked about how simple it is to start with wealth building. First of all, as Al Smith Jr. said, making your money behave. We need to take control of our finances, take control of the decisions that we make, manage our money, decide, have a plan, and have the discipline to execute that plan so that we progress towards that wealth that we desire, but we have to do it one step at a time. I was very impressed by that, and I hope that's one of the key takeaways that we have here. There's a wealth of knowledge. I'm showing the panelists' contact information. Hopefully you can get that information. If we need to type this in the chat, we will. This information, this recording will be available on YouTube within a couple of days. And of course, it will be available on Facebook where
We lost Tracy.
we're
We
streaming.
did.
So as we have future topics that will also be of interest. And so I'll end it there. Thank you so much for joining us. We were honored by your presence. We trust that you're taking away something good, something that will help you to get started on your journey towards financial freedom and building wealth. Thanks again for
Tracy,
joining us.
One more thing. Come to the Financial Empowerment Center at the Urban League of Southwest Ohio. They have counselors there who can help you work one-on-one as well as at Fifth Third Bank. We can all help you. We're here to help you on your wealth building journey. Have a great night.
Thank you so much.
Laura Carter, could you send me your address, please? I sent you my email address as well.
Thanks, everyone. Have a fabulous, fabulous evening and enjoy the rest of your week. And we wish you much success throughout your life.
Yes. See you soon.
See you soon.